Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's story is short, razor sharp, and it still makes my hands tremble when I think about it. It's called, That One Joke Destroyed Everything. I saw his smile fade right before my eyes. If you like twisted, real feeling suspense, stay with me, this one bites. We'd been married 6 years and people always said we were the kind of couple who laughed through the hard parts. That was the mask. At home, things had been off for months. Late meetings, sudden silences, the way his phone would flip face down the moment I entered a room. He gave me reasons that sounded rehearsed, like someone had read advice on how to lie convincingly. I could feel the truth moving beneath our daily life. A cold, shifting thing. I didn't know how to look at him without searching for cracks. Then one night I found the crack. It was after midnight, him asleep, his phone a small blue glow on the bedside table. I told myself I wouldn't, but curiosity is a muscle that learns its own tricks. I read the messages. Short, warm sentences. Nicknames I'd never heard. A restaurant name I'd never seen on our receipts. A plan for next Thursday, 8 the rooftop. The language was intimate in a way a friend's text isn't. It was the soft way a secret keeps itself. I could have left then. Confronted him in our bedroom. Let it explode in private. I could have called him out and watched the fight come. Instead, something colder took over. I wanted him to feel the exact moment his life unzipped. I wanted the world to contract around him. I wanted to watch his smile fall. I started small. I asked about work dinners and he told the polite lies. I memorized the rooftop restaurant name. I learned the mistress's nickname, Lola. Because everyone who loved secrets is sloppy with them eventually. She signed one message with it, tiny and confident. Hugs and kisses, Lola. The plan wasn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was precision. If he was going to rewrite our marriage, I wanted the final draft to be his face when he understood he'd been read. A week later, his company hosted a modest awards dinner at the rooftop bar mentioned in the messages. He was nominated, a perfect alibi. I accepted the invite because nothing feels more ordinary than a partner supporting the other. My heart was a quiet animal in my chest as I dressed. I didn't tell him what I knew. I let him carry his secrets like a misfiring torch. We arrived together, smiling. People congratulated him, joked about the big win, clinked glasses. I was all warmth and ordinary moves. Ask about the project, laugh at a joke, slide an arm around his waist. He answered like a man who owns nothing but his evening. Then midway through dessert I saw her. Not a cinematic entrance. No spotlight, no dramatic music. Just a woman across the room in a red dress, laughing with a group of people. Her hair fell exactly the way the photos on his phone showed it. I felt a tiny disbelieving gravity in my stomach. My throat went dry for a second, but the moment passed into clarity. She was the woman in the messages. She had come, and the room hummed around her. I could have left. I could have walked out and let the silence between us do its work. But I had promised myself I'd watch his smile fade. So I did the most ordinary, devastating thing I could think of. I made a joke. They were talking about rewards for going the extra mile. Idle corporate banter. I leaned into our table, waited until the laughter dropped to a comfortable murmur, and said casually, loudly enough for the people nearest us to hear. You know, I always thought loyalty was like dessert. Once it's been tasted somewhere else, the flavor never comes back the same. The table laughed at the aphorism. It sounded like a line from a reflective girlfriend in a rom-com. My husband smiled, the automatic public smile that said everything was fine. Then I added the deliberate line. I couldn't keep it in my voice. It had to be soft and sharp, like a key under the tongue. And tell Lola I stole her favorite dessert tonight, I said, with a laugh as if the name meant nothing. Time folded. His smile stayed for a heartbeat, then it faltered. That falter was small. A twitch in the corner of his mouth, but it was a private diagnosis in public. Eyes that had been bright dimmed. He tried to keep the laugh going, but the sound died in him like someone had cut the feed. He looked at me. Not a glance. A look that was all calculation and fear and the sudden, hot understanding that his private life had been cracked open in a room full of people who, until 5 seconds ago, thought he was charming. I watched him process. The messages I'd read, the nickname he'd typed in the dark, the rooftop plans he'd made and pretended were for business lunches. I watched the math in his face. She saw him too. Lola's head turned as if sensing a shift in the current. Her laughter stopped. Her eyes slid toward our table. For a second the world narrowed to three faces. Mine, his, hers. He didn't speak. He didn't leave. He reached for his glass like a man grasping for something he could still hold. I felt a primitive sympathy for what had once been the man who had loved me, but it was small and distant like light from a removed city. The room felt brighter and crueler in the same breath. Someone at the next table, oblivious, raised a toast. Our corner of the rooftop moved in slow motion. The other guests smiled at nothing. My husband's mouth squeezed. His jaw clenched. He was trying to assemble a lie, a way back to ordinary, and I could see the panic building the way a storm builds on the horizon. Later, when the facts had no more room to breathe, I walked him to the car. He tried to explain, stammering words that smelled like travel excuses and late shifts. I told him I'd read the messages. I told him I'd known Lola. I told him everything I had learned, everything I had watched him try to carve out from our life. He apologized in the way of someone rehearsing a plea, and for the first time I saw genuine devastation cross his face. That look wasn't for me, it was for himself for being unmasked. But the joke had already done its work. A joke is a brittle thing. It can break a silence with laughter, or it can crack the shell of a life that someone has been spinning in the dark. As we stood in the thin light by the car, I remembered how small and ordinary the line had sounded when I said it. The name, the casual "tell Lola I stole her favorite dessert," had been the fulcrum. It had tipped him. People ask me now if I regret the way I exposed him. They wonder if there was a kinder way. Maybe there was. Maybe the kinder way would have spared a few wounds. But I needed him to see himself reflected back, naked in a room full of strangers. I needed the exact moment he recognized the truth not as a rumor, but as a public thing he had to live with. That night, his smile died twice. Once in front of everyone as the social engine shifted, and again later in the car where words fell like small stones. The love that had leaned into us for years was gone, flattened by a single ordinary joke that knew exactly where to press. Some endings are loud and messy. Some are small and surgical. This one was the latter, precise, irrevocable. Thanks for listening. If you like this, drop a like, share with someone who loves messy human stories, and I'll see you in the next one.